GMAC. This is Paradigm Live, the one place every week where you can catch up on everything CyberBrokers. I'm Mike Carterell, your community manager and friendly leftover, and we have a special guest host with us today. Say hello.
Hey, it's Merk, the moderator.
Woo, and friendly degen too, right?
Fiddled with the buttons, but yep.
Okay, let's get into it. Lots of announcements the last week about stuff coming up. So first, as always, for those that are new, want to explain what CyberBrokers is. CyberBrokers is a metaverse-native media and entertainment company that is building a captivating universe through beautiful collectibles, engaging content, and interactive experiences. And I think we're going to see this more coming up with Mex.
You can learn more at the website at cyberbrokers.com or at the Twitter at cyberbrokers_.
And just a reminder, we have two collections. CyberBrokers, the original one from March of last year, with our birthday week coming up next week. And Genesis Mex also coming up in March of this year. So there was a bunch of announcements, and we want to make sure everyone is up to speed what's coming up. This week, we have Pretty's Lucky Loot tomorrow and NFT Paris on Friday and Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit more about those. Next week is our birthday celebration, and there's going to be stuff going on all week, and we'll talk about that as well. And then we get into March Mech Madness, an entire month devoted to mechs, which kicks off with assembly, and there's going to be some other stuff that we won't reveal yet. Got to keep a little surprises, right, Merk? Don't want to tell everything at once.
True.
Okay. This week, what's the first thing we have up?
On Monday, which is today at 2 p.m. CST time or 3 p.m. Eastern time, we transition from Collabland to Delegate.cash. So you're going to want to get that started today or when you've got time.
And we'll have a slide on that in a minute. Pretty's Lucky Loot tomorrow starts at 10 a.m. CST. We're going to talk more detail about that. Every week, we have our weekly fashion events. So the poll on Twitter for you to pick which fashion item we want to talk about and discuss. On Wednesday in the lore channel, you get a chance to discuss it and fill in details that are missing from our database. And FAD is there to help assist with that process. And then on Friday, there's an AR filter based upon choices from the community. There's also a new lore story drop this week, and I don't have a slide for that, so let's touch on that for a minute. I believe the last story was about sheeple, and was kind of cool. And we're going to have a completely different story this time, and Sam kind of teased it a little bit. And we're going to talk about the new government and how it's set up, this council. Merk, any thoughts on how that new council is going to go, especially now that drifters aren't even logged in yet?
I don't have a ton to say on that. I know that there's a rough draft of the story floating around, but I believe it's heavily based on the Nexus Point narrative and the choices the community made previously at the end of last year.
So we're going to get basically the results of Nexus Point and how it's being implemented in TPL. And it's going to be from a new set of characters and talents that we saw before, but we haven't had a lot of detail on. So look for a new lore drop this week, which will be exciting. And after you read it, talk in the lore channel. And of course, NFT Paris at the end of this week. Our agenda this week, we're going to talk in more detail about the Discord change. We're going to talk about Lucky Loot, NFT Paris birthday celebration, and of course, mech part reveal continues. Okay, so let's talk about this token gating. This started actually back, I want to say November. Is that about right?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So the intent here is we want to provide more personalized services to holders, and to do that, we need to know information about the holders. And Collabland doesn't give that to us. Collabland will token gate, but we can't in Discord say, what brokers do you have? You know, do you want to play in Discord as a broker? You know, do you want to do that as your mech? You know, we can't do any of those personalized things. And that's kind of the whole driving force behind this. The second part is the fact that we don't want to have holders token gate with their cold wallet for security. Is that kind of a good summary of the reasoning behind this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So holders have two options to perform this new token gate. They go to delegate cash channel in Discord and they can see both options. Option one is, which the option we recommend, which is setting up delegate cache and then verifying in Discord with your hot wallet. So that way you're not touching your cold wallet in Discord. Option two, if you don't want to do that and you really want to connect with your cold wallet, you're certainly welcome to, but we don't recommend it. Is that a good summary too?
Yep.
Have you seen, I mean, it seems like people are not having an issue doing this. There's a couple times someone with a ledger will pop up and, you know, they didn't have blind transaction set, but I think we're close to 500 now. Any other issues you've seen with people doing this?
Usually it's the trying to wrap their head around, like, okay, well, which wallet do I need to sign with and which wallet and stuff like that, where it's just like, or the other thing too is like, oh, well, do I need to use my cold wallet for this or not? For things like the Pretty for revealing parts and stuff, and which situations you need to use your cold wallet and which situations you need to use your hot wallet. For the most part, you know, obviously we're trying to minimize the instances you would ever use your cold wallet, but sometimes you do have to use it.
Yeah, so using delegate.cash, there's a little education and getting used to and just figuring out, you know, to set it up, there's that cold wallet, hot wallet sequence. And that seems to be kind of the big thing, is taking a moment to figure out which wallet to use where. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, but once they're set up, that really no more questions after that. It's simple, just use your hot wallet.
Yep, and you know, at that point too, is like your hot wallet can literally just be an empty wallet that you put in MetaMask that just says, use this burner for CyberBroker stuff, and just leave it like that, you know.
Yep, makes total sense. So we've got an interesting question here. Would you recommend transferring your broker to a new wallet if it's just in your main wallet since MIT? And I think the answer I would give is that main wallet a cold wallet? Are you connecting to other things with it? So if you're using that main wallet as a place to degen and minting all sorts of stuff from, yes, please move it into a new wallet and set up delegate cash with that new wallet. Anything you'd want to add there, Merk?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, maybe I'm not the best person to talk about security with, but I would assume like you can also just go through that wallet if you wanted to inspect, check to see what type of token allowances you have on that wallet. And that's the thing, you know, periodically you should do. You should go check to see, because sometimes on some of these hacks, what we're seeing is like you signed something 6 months ago, and now the hacker's finally, you know, acting on it.
Yeah. So revoke.cash on your cold wallet just to make sure you've removed stuff is probably a good idea. So Sky to Crypto, I think you're good if you're not using your main wallet for degen use. No need to move the CyberBroker then. We would recommend, I'm assuming then you have a different wallet that you're degenning from. So set up delegate.cash between those two wallets. Okay, so back to Discord Token Gate in a little less than a couple hours. We're flipping the switch. And if you haven't used it, you will lose your CyberBroker role in Discord. Not a huge problem. You can still complete it, at a later date. At the same time, it's something you're going to want to do. Because what was the question you were asking earlier that people were saying, is there something coming, right?
Yeah. Is there something where because it's today, that there's something I need that's pertinent today, that I am going to lose access to some type of FOMO event? Or is it just you're transitioning from one thing to the other?
Yeah. So I think the answer to that is it's not a FOMO today. It's not going to cause you any issues today. At the same time, there will be things coming up that only those in token gated channels will be able to see, and you'll want to be there for them. So is that enough fair warning way to say it?
Yeah, that's the warning label right there.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're good on token gating. Anything else we need? Any other questions from the audience here on token gating? Yeah. And this is the site, revoke.cash. So, if you're doing any security checkups on your cold wallet especially, use this site. You can basically remove everything if you want, and then it'll just ask you again later, like if you're connecting to OpenSea, to say yes again. Perfect. I like this. This is true. Enough fair warning. Yes, we've been giving warnings since Thanksgiving or November-ish. We're trying. Okay. Let's keep moving then. Pretty's lucky loot. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, eh? Feels like it should be in March, but it's February. So let's go through the details. I'm sure people are going to have questions, and I'm sure, Merk, you've got some questions you can ask from what you've seen in Discord as well. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Central, so 11 a.m. Eastern, you can go to pretty.cyberbrokers.com, and there will be 1,000 mech part bundles for sale. There's also a 5 CyberBroker giveaway that goes with it. Each bundle is going to have 10 TPL revealed mech parts in it. You are guaranteed to get 6 Enforcer, 3 Ravager, and 1 Behemoth or Lupus. There are no engines or Enforcer Lupus OG arms. So basically the things from the first 2 quests. Okay. It's going to act a little bit like Pretty, even though it's revealed parts, because the style and the part you get is going to be completely random. There'll be 6 Enforcers, but they could be any combination of style and part other than the engines and the arms. Okay. For the first hour, you can buy a maximum of 2 bundles, and then after the first hour, we're going to turn that off. The price for the bundle is 0.15 ETH, and anyone that owns any CyberBroker asset as of last Wednesday, I believe, we took a snapshot, will be able to purchase. So that includes CyberBrokers, TPL mecha parts, the unrevealed, TPL Afterglow, TPL revealed parts. Any of those assets, you're already on the list. Did that cover everything, Merk, or did I miss anything there?
One of the questions that I had seen and was answered in Discord is what the contingency plan of how long is this open for? What if you don't sell all 1,000 of them?
Yep.
Even let's say, is the 5 cyberbroker giveaway based on how many people buy the parts during the window?
Yep. Good questions. So let me start with the intent first, which is probably these parts need to get out into the market, right? That's the reason this is being done, because we've all seen with trading that there's certain parts that are limited quantity that shouldn't be, right? And it's because the rest of the supply isn't there yet. So we need to make sure all these parts get out and the true rarities that should exist start showing up that way. At the same time, we recognize that we don't want to put the parts out there in a way that hurts existing holders that got parts or people that have bought parts. So that's why we're kind of doing it in this package form where there's a price, so they're not just airdropped. And the price, is good compared to what the same bundle of unrevealed parts would be. Because I think unrevealed parts for this package is showing close to 0.2 ETH right now, or at least it was when we did the calculations. So you're getting a little discount compared to buying unrevealed parts. But at the same point, it's got a price to it. Let me stop and ask if there's any questions with that. Then we can get into the other question you had. Does that intent make sense?
Oh, I agree there. The intent makes sense because you have like two different sides to this, and one of the sides that I've seen in the Discord, especially with trading, is hey, this is an enforcer part. It's priced on the market way higher than a lot of Lupus parts.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah. And it's happening because the balance of parts isn't there yet, right? So we haven't gotten through reveal, and this will help with that. I mean, the reality is it won't be fully fixed until everyone reveals, right? Because until everyone reveals, the final rarities won't be completed, but they should be close with this. This will give it much better.
Yeah, it'll help, and it'll also make like a nice influx into the economy for trading and all that, and maybe spur some people to build new mechs and go for a third or a fourth.
Exactly. Ballistic had a good question here. Why no Nexus? And the answer was simple: there wasn't any left over in the unclaimed wallet. I think there were maybe 4 or 5 random Nexus parts in there. And so with our rounding, we just wanted to keep it Behemoth or Lupus. And so we didn't include the Nexus. Yeah. Dot says, give me them. Nexus parts, the only way you're getting those right now is buying unrevealed Nexus or revealed Nexus. There's too small a quantity. Those almost all are out. Those all are almost all out there. I can't get that right. All Nexus parts are almost all in holders' hands, whether revealed or unrevealed. There we go. Wow, that was a tongue twister. Holy cow, Merk. Bring me back to the original question about the giveaway.
Oh, it was still the other parts, which was, is there a contingency plan on this in terms of this will be for this many days?
Yes, so there was some discussion about that, and frankly, our hope is they just sell out in a few days. until that happens, we won't know. But if we go into like day 5, we will probably stop the sale and start it up at another time, and then we'll deal with the giveaways at that time as well. So figure out what stage we were at, and then run the giveaways for the first section. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
There was some discussion about capping it to a certain number of days, but I think we'd rather just see them get out there. So therefore, we're not putting any firm caps on the amount of time. We'll react to what occurs directly based upon that. Okay, so summarizing, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central at pretty.cyberbrokers.com, you can go and you can buy bundles of 10 revealed mech parts for 0.15 ETH and be entered into the CyberBrokers giveaway. Oh, the other question on that, every purchase equals an entry. So it's not just like one wallet equals an entry. Every purchase equals an entry. So you end up buying, 10 of these, you have 10 entries. Okay. I'm looking at this question. This should provide some. Yes, exactly. So I think this is exactly what we're trying to go for. There's a bunch of parts that just aren't there yet, and this will help make sure they get into the market. Okay, Merk, we good with this one? Any other questions?
I think we can move on.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want more mech parts, and it's kind of a fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Same here.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun way to just get a single bundle versus going and buying individual parts, individual unrevealed parts. So there's a little bit of a cost savings that you're getting 10 parts in one transaction versus what could be 10 separate transactions, in purchasing unrevealed parts.
Yeah, not just that, it also opens up new avenues for people who may get 2 parts for the same thing and already have a third part and be like, oh, yeah, I'm halfway there, I'm going for it.
Exactly. It'll fill in some gaps and give people different options. Yeah. Okay, we could talk all day on this, so I'm going to move on. NFT Paris, I'm not going to go over too much here. Those who are going, there's 2 events on Friday. There's a networking on Saturday, and then of course Josie speaks at 4:30 Central European time. So that's the other thing you want to make sure to get to if you're in Paris. Brianna and the team will be live tweeting, pictures and videos. So make sure you're kind of staying in touch with what's going on CyberBrokers Twitter so you can see what's going on live. And then I want to talk about the birthday celebration. Can you believe it's been a year, Merk?
It's been at least 6 years in crypto, though.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is it feels like so much longer than a year. The team is so excited, and we're not going to spoil the surprises. But I will say next week is going to be a lot of fun. There will be a 3-day extravaganza, March 1st through 3rd, and I believe the 3rd is a Friday, so Wednesday through Friday. There will be 2 exclusive gifts for CyberBroker holders that will get announced. So we love our CyberBroker holders. Want to make sure to celebrate them. There will be a live stream with the CyberBroker OGs on the 3rd. So that will be Josie, Chris, and Ben Heidorn. So the 3 original founders. So we'll kind of reminisce a little bit about the beginnings. There'll be some, hopefully, views of some of, what do they call that? The cutting room floor. See if we can grab some stuff that didn't make it in, some discussions about what didn't make it in, and then a reflection on everything that's happened in this last year. There will also be another announcement for CyberBroker holders next week as well. It's not really a gift, but so we'll count on 3 things for CyberBroker holders next week. 2 are gifts, 1 is not. That doesn't help with any questions, does it, Merk? Because you can't really ask questions of things you don't know about.
This is like poking around the question of okay, it's a thing now. Is it like a allow list? Is it like a new thing? Is it this? Is it that?
I can hear. Let's pretend we're playing emoji Wordle in the lore channel with the architect. Let me give you some details and see if you can figure it out from there. All 3 will be different things. One, well, how do I state this? I can't. I'm just gonna. All 3 are different things, and all 3 will have specific value to CyberBroker holders, is what I'll say. I think that's about as close as I can come without ruining anything.
I mean, you opened this can of worms.
I did. You're right.
Trying to figure this out. You're gonna get a lot of pings in Discord later of asking questions.
That's okay. Yes. Here, Lolo's got the perfect answer. 1, a thing. 2, another thing. 3, also a thing. It doesn't do me any good to. Oh, you know what? Here's what I can do. I'll tease this. Those who are observant at NFT Paris will be able to figure out one of the things that will be announced next week. That's the only clue I'll give. So those who are at NFT Paris, be on the lookout. You may see something that will get announced next week, and you'll know what it is early. Okay. I am going to move on because I'm just going to get myself in trouble with any further discussion on that. Probably a good idea, right, Mark?
Yeah, at this point we're in the danger zone.
Okay. Yeah, so everyone talk to Ballistic. He'll be there. He might be able to help you out with something. Okay. No guest today. So if there's questions that the community wants to ask, feel free here in YouTube. Let me get my... I actually want to do that one. Push your questions to YouTube chat. So, community, what questions you got? Is there merch? Is it a bucket hat? There is no merch at NFT Paris. There is a gift, though, and it is not a bucket hat, although I wish it was. Let's see here. If mechs need brokers to do missions, will new people who build a mech have ways to participate in additional interactive experiences without owning a broker? This is an excellent question, and it keeps coming up. So the answer is we're absolutely trying to make that happen. We're not clear if at the mission launch that will occur, but the intent is to allow anyone that owns a mech without a cyber broker a way to interact with missions without owning that cyber broker. Obviously, they won't have the same experience as owning a cyber broker because owning a cyber broker will grant something more. You always want that incentive to upgrade to a cyber broker. Does that help answer the question, Lolo? Not seeing a response. So I think, Merk, probably the other thing to point out is that anyone with a mech, an assembled mech, will also get access to token gated areas of Discord. So they will be the same as a cyber broker, with one exception. They won't be allowed in the trading channel area. But other than that, they will have full access to all token gating and cyber brokers. Will other cyber broker holders be able to lend their cyber brokers out? That's another good question. Not through us directly, but if you go take a look at Delegate Cash, is it called Liquid Delegate, Merk? The new protocol they came out with?
I'd have to double check, but possibly.
Yeah, I think it's Liquid Delegate. So if you go look at Liquid Delegate, I believe that gives you the ability to basically rent any NFT. So it wraps it, and then the person that's renting it has the ability to use it for utility while it's being rented. So in theory, you could rent it that way. Obviously not something through cyber brokers, so we don't take any responsibility for it. But I believe it could be done that way.
That's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. Yes, Liquid Delegate is from delegate.cash. I believe they just announced Liquid Delegate a couple weeks ago, so I'm not fully versed on it. But that was the intent, was basically rentable NFTs.
I mean, for our purposes, couldn't you just do a regular delegate to a hot wallet for somebody else to use it? If we're talking about, using it for missions.
Yeah, you're right. You could manually do that. You could put a broker into like a fresh wallet. You could then, give that wallet delegate access to the other person's hot wallet and charge a fee. And then when the time period is over, remove that delegate to the hot wallet. But that's all manual, and there's no what's the right way to say that? There's no automated, it works and I have full control of it while I'm renting it. So I mean, the person that's renting it could pull access 2 days later, and there's nothing the renter could do about it. So I mean, you could manually do it that way. Is that where you were going?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing I would be thinking about is like, if I wanted to have like a friend try and play around with this a little bit and see if they're interested.
Sky to Crypto, perfect. Yeah, that's the words I was struggling with. Not verified by code. Yeah. And frankly, you could do that with mechs too, in theory. So if someone needs a Nexus level mech for some mission, obviously everyone doesn't have those. So you could use Delegate Cash manually to give access to a Nexus mech without risking giving the NFT away. Guilds. What's guilds? Tell us more what you're thinking about. Do you know what Dot's asking there, Merk?
I mean, I'm wondering if this is like pointing towards something like an Axie thing.
Oh, do you mean factions? Is that the question? You can create a guild this way. We'll have to take that one to Discord. Not sure I'm understanding where that idea has gone. Do you understand, Merk?
I do not, but I share her enthusiasm about
Always share Dot's enthusiasm. Although we can pool assets. Oh yes, yeah, you could do that way. So, but that does bring up the concept of factions. So we got a teaser for factions already, didn't we?
Yeah, I believe somebody somewhere dropped something about factions. I don't know enough about it to make an informed thing about it, but it's interesting.
Yeah. So I believe that was a Twitter video. That was you need to make a choice, I think was the teaser. So I will say that factions is something coming up that holders will need to make a choice on, and you will need to be delegated to do that. So there's maybe your first FOMO of why you need to delegate. You'll need to pick a faction. Again, I got nowhere to go with that because I can't say any more, right?
Thankfully, I know nothing, so perfect for me.
You're right, Merk. I'm the same way. I know nothing. We should end the show right now. No more questions because neither of us can answer them. I like that idea. Okay, last call. Any other questions from the crowd? They're not typing fast enough. We can close the show before they get a good question in there.
It's like that 15-minute rule where if the teacher doesn't show up, you can just leave.
Yes, exactly. I think, yes, factions are also a thing. Factions are, I can help with that. Factions are not part of the announcement next week. That is not one of the three things. Okay, Merk, thank you for being guest host today. Very much appreciated. I think we got everyone the information they needed for this week. I look forward to next week's version where there will be lots of more specific details coming out. So as always, make sure to watch weekly Paradigm Live, the one place where you get everything you need to know about CyberBrokers. Merk, sign us off.
Make sure you get your delegate sorted out, and see you next week.
Bye, everyone.